Thank you. Thank you, Chanel. Fox Hill? Bahamians everywhere. Before I say anything, let me just say this. I want to address some matters related to the city markets. For the benefit of the 400 or so workers and the general public, I will limit my remarks strictly to specific comments on what contributed significantly to the decline of that well-known supermarket chain. You know, City Market was first owned by Bahamians. One of the early decisions of the PLP when it came to office in 1967 was to approve for Winn-Dixie chain of supermarkets in the States to buy the food chain of stores here in the Bahamas. It was also the PLP that approved Barbados Shipping and Trading Company, along with a small number of prominent Bahamian private investors, to buy the company back from Winn-Dixie in 2006. The Barbadian company was subsequently acquired by the Trinidadian-based firm Neal and Massey. At the time of the sale of City Market to the Barbadian group in 2006, while Perry Christie was in office, 1,350 individual Bahamians and Bahamian pension funds owned shares in City Market. Many of these persons were employees of the company and small investors. Some people were approaching retirement. Up to that point, the company had always been profitable. City Market carried all the top international quality food brands from North America and from Europe and from as far-flung Commonwealth countries such as Australia and New Zealand. City Market was a sound investment of what they call blue chip quality. They paid dividends every year to their shareholders and never missed paying it any time. Bahamians who owned shares in the company felt secure that they had invested in a reputable company that would give them safe returns. They believed that the shares would provide for them in retirement and secure the future of their loved ones should they leave dependents at their debt. City Market was also a good corporate citizen. It was celebrated for the thousands of scholarships granted to Bahamian students to pursue university training abroad. At the time of the sale in 2006, the balance sheet of City Market had $14 million in cash and had an average annual earning over the previous 10 years of more than $7.5 million. In the second year of operation, the new owners reported a net loss with negative cash flow. Thus began the endless spiral downwards, which included the endless need for additional cash. The shares in City Market began to be traded over the counter. When we left office in 2002, City Market shares were worth $22.75. $22.75 each in 2002. That's the same year that Christie them came to office. Today the shares in City Market not listed nor traded over the counter. Today you can't give them shares away. Dividends have long stopped. The company is insolvent, and the shares in the company are, in my opinion, worth less. The foreign company and their Bahamian co-shareholders paid a pretty penny for Bahamas supermarkets, and after they bought it, they had to inject many millions of dollars before they had to walk away from City Market. They left in their wake widespread uncertainty. I know that City Market employees are all very concerned about their pension. We are told that their pensions are secure. Further, we'll do the necessary to ensure that you are dealt with in full compliance with the law regard to any severance payment you are entitled to. It is a sad reality that hundreds of Bahamian shareholders lost their investment, and hundreds of Bahamian workers now have unstable employment and face an uncertain future. It is at a minimum quite ironic that the same Perry Christie, who now says he puts Bahamians first, in 2006 turned down a Bahamian bid to purchase City Market, who at a minimum may well have better understood the Bahamian consumers generally want brand name products, and the Bahamians don't change to buy unfamiliar generic goods quickly. Whatever is the case, the basic matter is this. The Christie administration agreed to a purchase which resulted in the destruction of a long-standing supermarket chain that generations of Bahamians grew up with. Bahamians must shudder at the thought of what potential disasters any new Christie government would bring to the country in terms of making decisions that would affect the livelihoods, the shares, the retirement savings and the pension funds of Bahamians. Even as the FNM has been building a shareholding society, the PLP has been dismantling it and encouraging Bahamians not to buy shares in quality companies like Arawak Port, which would make profits for the shareholder, but rather sought to try to persuade them to buy shares in City Market or R&D theatres. We've helped thousands, tens of thousands of Bahamians become shareholders. I want to assure you that the PLP is interested in a few of themselves and their special friends owning shares. They don't want a shareholding society. They want a shareholding club made up of themselves and their cronies and special interests. This is what they so greedily attempted to do through that phantom blue water company. They wanted dead serious. They wanted a gold rush to raid the cookie jar at BTC in order to line their pockets and stuff their bank accounts. I never stop saying to you, keep them out so they don't sell you out. Fox Hill, Color Red is on the move. You know when scary people walk past the graveyard, and here in Fox Hill you know this, when scary people walk past the graveyard because they're scared, they believe everybody else is scared. I want you to assure you, Red ain't never scared. When you vote Fox Hill, I want to see you lose your heart to a girl from the eastern part. Chanel Ferguson is the one for you. She's on the delivery team. She's not on the talking team. And I want to reiterate, we lost the election in Fox Hill last time because too many people in the Fox Hill constituency couldn't resist the urge to send Fred Mitchell a real message. Tell him, carry us, you know what? All we want is the X. Forget the you know what. Don't mess up no ballot this time. Just the X. A simple X will be rid of Fred Mitchell. That's all it takes, an X. Tonight I wish to express my thanks and my gratitude to Dr. Jacinta Higgs and her husband Dwight for their hard work these past 5 years, and there were many years in Fox Hill and this country generally. I also want to thank our family for their support and their encouragement. I know Dr. Higgs, as she told you, will continue to make significant contributions to national development and here in Fox Hill, especially in the areas of education, the advancement of Bahamian women and Bahamian culture. Now, because I'm in historic Fox Hill, I wish to say something briefly about our proposed Heritage Tourism Initiative. First of all, we must preserve our culture for ourselves. We should also proudly showcase our rich and diverse heritage to the world. Through our Heritage Tourism Initiative, we will significantly enhance the infrastructure and signage required to better preserve our culture and share it with visitors to the Bahamas. In addition to current funding for heritage sites, our priority areas for heritage tourism in the Providence are historic city of Nassau, Bainstown, Grantstown, Adelaide, Gambia Village, and of course, Fox Hill. We will preserve the voices and the stories of our elders and older people, as well as our living national heroes. Through the College of the Bahamas, we will launch a public-private partnership called Our Bahamian Stories as a part of the oral history of the project. This oral history will save the voices of generations of Bahamian wisdom and folk stories. The project, similar as the Heritage Tourism Initiative, will have important components in all our family islands. FNMs and Bahamians everywhere. I report to you tonight that there's a wave of colour red surging throughout the family islands. Grand Bahama's red, red, red. And you better add 2 more reds to that, so we got 5 in Grand Bahama. Our base of support here in Nassau is rock solid and holding firm. Day by day, the momentum of colour red is surging from east to west and from north to south. Night before last, we were in Marathon that had a hunt. You can feel the groundswell here in the east. I know Marathon is here tonight. Let me hear you. Let me hear you, Yamacraw, and St. Anne's, and Elizabeth, and Montague, and Seabreeze. And of course, Fox Hill, let me hear you. You know, by the way, I hear the PLP been on Aaron Bailey Park for meeting for Jerome Fitzgerald last night. You notice that the ad in the newspaper advertising this meeting never mentioned Perry Christie or Brave Davis' name. You think Jerome got something up? Time will tell.
Are you serious?
He was yes, I'm dead serious, because he was one of them trying to buy City Market, and Christie allowed the foreigners to buy it. I would have thought, that the PLP would have been embarrassed to hold a rally at the school park. After all, they ain't built a single school in 5 years. Anyway, I was delighted that they were able to get in and get out on those 5 new lanes and brand new roads going in every direction. Some people are comical, They like cruising up and down all those things called roads that we built. Last night they even said the roads are gold roads. Then they cuss us out for the very thing they enjoyed so much. But like Howard Johnson say, the roads them looking pretty. You just notice some of them who cuss us in public for all these things must say in their minds after gliding on these new roads, Papa them really do good. Market Street from Duke Street to Wolf Road is now open to traffic. And tomorrow, God willing, you'll drive along Prince Charles Drive from Soldier Road to Foxhill Road. No matter whether you're going back and forth to Aaron Bailey Park from here in the east or in the west, north or south, our First World roads will get you there with ease. Foxhill, I know the roadworks have taken some time, but now we can see the bigger picture and feel the smoother ride. So instead of listening to PLP's fool talk, keep the great Bob Marley in mind. Don't let them fool you or even try to school you. Oh no, we got a mind of our own. Now I have a special word to say to all of those who are thinking of voting PLP, mostly because they've been doing so for a number of years. I know in your heart of hearts, quite a number of you believe that this government, headed by me, provided better leadership than the one headed by Christie. I ask for your support in this election. You don't have to tell them you're voting for me. You ain't got to tell them. Just come to Papa. PLPs, your Papa ain't here no more. Your Papa gone. The new man who's in charge, he ain't got it. If you like the modernization of this country, you've seen so far, give us 5 more years. Come with me. You ain't saying nothing yet. We'll help you grow the economy, and we will relentlessly assault the criminals among us. To those uncertain about voting for Christie on election day, I want you to vote for the kind of steady and decisive leadership this country needs at this time. And so on behalf of the FNM, I ask for your support in helping the country to keep moving forward. We cannot afford 5 years of delay and indecision in the midst of the serious challenges the country faces. I will deliver, I assure you, for all Bahamians. We are building a whole new country, and we are creating a new providence. You know, the word providence has two meanings. One of the meanings is the wisdom, care, and guidance provided by God, and of which we are all in need. There's another meaning of providence. It's a meaning which has to do with about the stewardship they bring to God's creation and to the service of the Bahamian people. In this sense, providence is about the good judgment and good governance and management of the people's business. It's about being a good steward and not burying our talents. It's also about foresight and looking down the road in order to prepare for tomorrow. We believe that we have been faithful stewards. We've worked hard. We've offered you clean and accountable government. We must all remember the words of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King used to talk about those who failed to act because they were held back by the paralysis of analysis. You have to study and analyze things before you act, of course, but then you must act. This is still my friend Perry's problem today. He'll talk everything to death, but he simply will not lead. He's afraid of making decisions. That's why his list of non-accomplishments is vastly longer than his accomplishments. That's why he never got around to building that new stadium. He's still thinking about it. Just like he's thinking about all the other things he never did. In life, delay and late again often means never. You know, I asked Perry for his suggestion for changes to the election law. Months and months and months passed. We repeated requests. Couldn't get a reply. Eventually, at the last hour, he came forward. When just about every MP, and also when just about every MP, you know, the FNM instituted a program where they made available to every member of Parliament, PLP or FNM, a certain amount of money to spend in their constituency, on projects in their constituencies. And Perry got his. You know, Perry was still dreaming about what he was going to do with the money in his constituency, and like they say, it went back in the treasury.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. You don't think Farm Road needed something? You cannot run a country if all you do is talk and dream for eternity. That's open up the Bahamas for disaster. Bahamians everywhere, FNMs. I want to advise you who have not yet registered to vote to do so immediately. While I'm on this thing about voting, you know, I heard last night they say I didn't let Mother Pratt speak. Well, you know, I wonder why they didn't say anything about Vincent Pete not speaking. Why didn't he want to go there to tell his constituents goodbye? Why are they hiding him? Anyway, Mother was able to say it last night, and then she can go on all those street corners in the Grove, say hello to her constituents, say thanks very much. So could the rest of them. The one, and they're seeking to tell us when we must call election. You know, the one thing we're not going to do, you know, when Perry was in office, we didn't know there was such thing as a bell. I don't think he knew there was such a thing as a bell. Now he's talking about a bell. Where was the bell when he was there? We woke up on Thursday in the middle of Easter, Holy Week, and discovered that Perry dissolved the House in the middle of Easter. Now trying to tell me how to do it. Him and the man with a little toy bell. They must be ringing that bell thing that's in school, eh? For recess, eh? Now, to those of you who have not picked up your voters card yet, I advise you to do so as soon as possible. This is in the event that there are any changes that need to be made in terms of where you'll be voting, in terms of your constituency or your polling station or any other correction. We don't want any confusion on election day. The devil is not in the details only. The devil also likes confusion and chaos. We want to make sure the devil has as little chance as possible for mischief on election day. I want to make sure the usual mischief makers have as little chance as possible to tempt the devil. But even if some of them manage to tempt the devil, they better not try tempt fate. If they do so and get caught, they may have to spend some time right here up the road as a guest of that place you know where. Now, the Parliamentary Registration Department has done an enormous amount of work to regularize or clean up the voter register. It is undoubtedly a more well-ordered register in 2007 when our predecessors allowed for all manner of flaws. We have invited observers from overseas to monitor the election. This is the first time in the history of the Bahamas, and independent Bahamas, that we have issued such an invitation. We have nothing to hide. The world is welcome to come to observe firsthand our electoral process. We will not have a repeat of certain individuals printing ballots in their shops. We will be on a special alert for floating ballots and related irregularities. And Fox Hill, from painful experience, some of you know of which I speak. And in case you don't remember, I saw on TV the other night down in North Andros one of the culprits, belly getting kind of big like mine now, right on TV. We know what job he does. You know what job he does. He shows up all the time. Fox Hill! Sadly this year, we lost the voice of Whitney Houston. She had the voice of an angel. And when she died so tragically, I remember the song she sang so beautifully. Most of us remember a special voice from one of her most memorable songs. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. To me, this voice is the theme of the kind of Bahamas so many of us believe in. It's the kind of Bahamas we work for as parents, teachers, public servants, ministers of the gospel, political leaders, and volunteers, or just as citizens of this country we love and call home. I want every Bahamian child, including those who grew up poor as I did, to have the opportunity to use their God-given talents to make a good and full life for themselves in this country. I also want our Bahamas to afford them the opportunity to give back in terms of being productive citizens. That is why we are fostering an opportunity society. It is a society that goes beyond the boundaries of party, race, or creed. It's a society where our children can grow up safe. That's why we must defeat the criminal class that seeks to rob us of our lives and our way of life. It is why we are waging an unceasing fight on every front in the battle against crime and its causes. The opportunity society we are securing is one in which our children and young people have access to decent schools and a quality education. That's why we continue to build new schools and refurbish others. It's also why we've launched a 10-year education program. That's why we made $25 million available as scholarship for COB, as compared to the PLP's $5 million. The opportunity society we are creating is revolutionizing healthcare in the Bahamas, from a landmark prescription drug benefit to the most advanced healthcare facilities in our region, to the national catastrophic health insurance in our next term. The opportunity society is one in which all Bahamians have access to jobs, economic opportunities, and greater ownership of our economy. We seek to do the things governments must do, but we seek also to facilitate the things best left to private initiative and private enterprise. To build this opportunity society, I'm asking Fox Hill to send one of its own to the House of Assembly. I've been trying to get Chanel Ferguson to become a candidate for Fox Hill for several elections now, and she knows this. She's been hard to get. I'm so happy I got you. Thank you very much for coming. She's community-minded. She's a star athlete. She made Fox Hill proud. She made the Bahamas proud. She will continue to do so. She's one of Yina. She's one of Yina. She belonged to Yina. You know, when I went to my people, they embraced me. They had me there for 7 times, and God willing, they put me back there for the 8th time. Give Chanel this one time, let her prove herself. She's community-minded. She's a faithful Methodist. She's volunteered her time as a coach and works with Junior Achievement. I'm happy to have another Fox Hillian on our team. We intend to win Fox Hill with a Fox Hill girl, just like we did before with Jay Dorset. And so Fox Hill, don't let me down. Don't get swing. Don't let an outsider come in here and tell you something different. He couldn't give two hoots about you. You are only a prop for him. Elect Chanel Ferguson as your candidate. FNMs and Bahamians everywhere. The change of government in 1992 helped to rescue our country from an abyss of lawlessness. The first FNM government had the monumental task of working to restore the good name of the Bahamas among the nations of the world, because they'd caused us to have a bad name. Yet the more deep-seated challenges we continue to face today are the far-reaching effects of that widespread drug trafficking and gangsterism of the 70s and 80s, brought on by that thing they call gold rush of illicit drug trafficking. Among the casualties of that period were some of our sons and daughters who became addicted to the ill-gotten gains of that trade. Tragically, others became addicted to drugs like crack cocaine, which ravaged their minds and their bodies as well as their dreams and their potential. Yet others became addicted to the almighty dollar and to easy money. Rampant materialism laid waste to long-held values. Family life suffered as too many parents and even grandparents traded traditional values for new satellite dishes, fancy cars, and expensive jewelry. Those were the gold rush days that destroyed many lives. When many of our young people looked to their leaders in church and state and society, they got mixed messages. They were told to be their brothers and sisters' keepers, even as prominent people aided in a better drug culture, which poisoned the bodies and values of many of their brothers and sisters. They watched as the words "in God we trust" became the plea for ill-gotten US dollars rather than a genuine statement of faith and morals. The erosion of certain positive values and the adoption of poisonous mindsets, those relatively few decades ago, gave rise to much of the criminal culture and the toleration of this culture that we are experiencing today. The erosion of values such as restraint, respect and responsibility, and the adoption of grabble initiatives and greed, or getting something for nothing, and getting over became widespread. These were the gold rush days. Keep the gold rush out. The ravaging storm of rampant lawlessness of those last decades spawned a culture of crime and violence as revisited us in succeeding decades. Some wiser heads at the time warned us of the difficulty of recovering from that dark period. The downward spiral of that culture of criminal violence gained momentum ever since, and ever more lethal instruments of violence, from fists to knives to guns. Today, in addition to a more entrenched culture of criminal violence, this FNM government continues to urgently address a gun culture in this country. Arming that culture is ready access to all manner of illegal weapons smuggled into the Bahamas. The cultures of criminality and guns joined hands beginning in the 80s. Combined, they created a criminal culture of repeat offenders and would-be offenders, as well as just plain thugs willing to solve disputes through firepower and bullets. The results are always terrifying, often deadly. We've measured the violent results in medical records from emergency and trauma, record murder counts, and tragically, short obituaries, which record the brief and violent lives of mostly young men, still leaving behind a life-affirming legacy. These young men leave behind grieving parents, siblings, and infant children. My government is not stinted with the resources required to upgrade the country's public infrastructure. Likewise, we've invested extraordinary amounts to upgrade the effectiveness of the police and the capacity of the criminal justice system to beat back the scourge of crime. We are moving in the right direction, but there's much work to be done. Bahamians everywhere, Fox Hill. I will have an Easter greeting next week, but we're going to suspend our campaign next week, Wednesday. Monday next is going to be one of the biggest family fun days in the history of the Bahamas. Don't be concerned about the PLP trying to be riding up and down the road, trying to block you from getting to Montague. Come to Montague. If they're blocking the road here, go to the next road. No fight. Just come. There'll be so much red splash across the Bahamas that the satellites in space might pick up all this color red.
Color red, color red.
I will personally begin color red day on red splash day in Abaco. I'll leave here at 1. I'll stop in Sandy Point. Sandy Point, I'll be there at 12 o'clock. I'll be at Treasure Key at 1 o'clock at our beach bar. I'll be in Freeport, Grand Bahama at 3 o'clock. I will arrive at Montague, God willing, at 5:30 p.m. and I will speak to you at Montague at 6:30 p.m. I hear some people saying we'll come out early to Montague with boiled fish, others coming around noon, and I know plenty of people will be there for sunset. Whatever time you reach, we'll keep the fire burning. Of course, other beaches will also be enjoyed by Bahamians on Easter Monday, from Caves to Delaport to Goodman's to Sanders to the Western Esplanade. Many are excited about the new beach park we created at Sanders Beach, and many will continue to enjoy the playground area at Goodman's Bay. Next time, we'll create additional wonderful family beach parks along the southern coast, from Yamacraw Beach in the east to South Beach in the south to Jaws Beach in the west. I'm happy that tourists come and enjoy our beaches. I'm happier still when Bahamians are able to enjoy some of the best beach parks in the entire world. Whatever beach you go to on Easter Monday, I remind you again to keep the children safe. Let us celebrate with a spirit of joy and hope that is the meaning of Easter. Let us do so peacefully and orderly. After Easter Monday, Color Red will be in Garden Hills on Tuesday, and then Seabreeze, and then Cat Island.
Color red, color red, color red.
And after that, Color Red will be in North Abaco.
Color red, color red.
FNMs, leave them gold rush people to the south. Be not provoked by yellow mellow. Not on Easter Monday, not on any other day. They looking for conflict. They know they are behind. They know they are losing. And they are desperate. They miss your cookie jar. Keep them out. Ladies and gentlemen, when election comes, I ask you to vote for Chanel Ferguson, to vote for me, to vote for the FNM. We have the better record. We most definitely have a better leadership to fight crime and bring peace to this land, with a better vision for jobs and economic recovery. Fox Hill, thank you. Good night. God bless our Bahamas.